Hey there tech fans, Rick here again from the OREI team with an overview of the EX-500C HDMI extension kit. This product makes it incredibly easy for you to share all of your HDMI media content with a second remote location up to 492 feet away over a single Cat6 or Cat7 LAN cable. The product fully supports high-definition media content and is both HDMI 1.3 as well as HDCP 1.4 compliant, which means it's essentially plug-and-play compatible with all of your modern media gear. It even provides local loopback functionality at the primary side, which allows you to enjoy the content here while you're simultaneously sharing it with the remote location. And it includes a set of infrared blasters that allow you to completely control the content you're watching at the remote location by picking up those remote control signals digitally, sending them across the LAN connection over to the primary side where they're rebroadcast, again effectively controlling your content. Now, as part of this overview, I'd like to start with a quick unboxing just to show you everything that's included with the kit. And then I'll take a closer look at both modules and explain the connections and indicators so you understand how to use them. I'll list the features and functions the product provides, and then I'll come back and do a short demonstration to show you just how simple this product will be to use with your own equipment. So let's get started with the unboxing. When you open up the box, you'll find a transmitter module and a receiver module. You'll find two 5-volt 1-amp DC power supplies. You can simply plug this into any standard wall outlet. The other end of the cable has a barrel connection on it, which plugs directly into the module and provides all the power you'll need for operation. You'll also find two infrared blaster modules, an infrared in and an infrared out. And it's important you plug those into the correct modules. This one picks up those remote control signals at that second site. This one rebroadcasts them at the primary site. Also included is a full instruction manual that lists everything you'll need to know about the product, including connection diagrams and specifications, and a lot of other really good information. Now, if you stay tuned next, I'll take a closer look at both modules, I'll list the features and functions, and then I'll come back and do that demonstration. The kit includes both a transmitter module and a receiver module, and both of these feature full metal enclosures that make them incredibly durable and a great choice for both residential and commercial installations. Let's start with the transmitter module. This is located at the primary site where you have the content you'd like to share with your remote location. The cabinet itself has two mounting flanges on either side that allow you to mount this module up off the ground and out of the way. On the one side of the cabinet, starting on the left, you'll find a full-sized HDMI port labeled input. This connects to whatever media device you'd like to share the content from with the remote location. Use a high-quality cable to make that connection. To the right of that is another full-size HDMI port labeled output. This product provides local loopback functionality, which allows you to continue to enjoy the content at the primary location while you're simultaneously sharing it with the secondary location. And to take advantage of that feature, you can connect the second monitor locally here to this port. To the right of that is a power indicator. When you add power to the module, it immediately starts an internal power on self-test where it checks the electronics. Once it passes that test, it'll light that LED letting you know the module's ready to use. To the right of that is a power port. That's used with the included power supply. You'll simply plug that power supply into a standard wall outlet. The other end of the cable has a barrel connection on it which plugs in right there and provides all the power you'll need for operation. On the other side of the module, starting on the left, you'll find a LAN port. This is where one end of the Cat6 or Cat7 cable between the transmitter and receiver plugs in. To the right of that are two 3.5mm ports labeled IR in and IR out, and these are the infrared blaster functions. Essentially, you can remotely control the content from that secondary location by plugging an infrared blaster receiver module in at that secondary location and a transmitter module in here. So at the transmitter side, you'll use the one that's labeled IR out, and you'll plug it in right there and put it near the media device you're trying to control. The receiver module again is very similar, metal enclosure, mounting flanges on either side. On the one side of the cabinet, you'll find a single HDMI port labeled output. This connects to the monitor at the remote location that you'd like to use to enjoy the content. To the right of that is another power indicator and another power port. You'll plug that second power supply in at the remote location and then connect the barrel connection right there to provide power for the module. On the other side, starting on the left, you'll find another LAN port. That's where the other end of that Cat6 or Cat7 cable from the transmitter plugs in. To the right of that are two more 3.5mm ports that are used with the infrared blaster at the remote location. In this case, at the receiver end, you'll plug the infrared in blaster right there, and that'll pick up the remote control signals from that location and send those over that same LAN connection to the primary location where they're rebroadcast so you can actually control the content you're watching. The OREI EX-500C is compatible with most modern HDMI media sources, including streaming devices, computer systems, digital projectors, game consoles, and media players like Apple TV. The product's features include full support of high-definition media content. It offers bi-directional infrared remote control of the content. It is both HDMI 1.3 as well as HDCP 1.4 compliant. It provides 492 feet of extension between the primary and secondary locations, and also offers local loopback of the content at the primary location that's being simultaneously shared with the remote location. Now I'll show you just how easy it'll be to use this product with your own equipment. And for this demonstration, I've set up a small media player right here that's currently looping a video on this monitor, and that's the media content I'd like to share with my secondary location. Over here, I've set up a second monitor. This represents the remote location where I'd like to enjoy the content from the primary side. And these can be up to 492 feet apart. In front of me, I have the transmitter module here and the receiver module here. Now, the first connection I'll make is from the media device directly to the transmitter, and I'll do that by disconnecting the HDMI cable from the monitor and plugging that into the HDMI input port on the transmitter. And now I can add power. I've already plugged in the power supply. The other end of the cable has a barrel connection on it, which plugs directly into the DC input port. Now I can connect up the receiver at the remote location. I've got an HDMI cable connected to this monitor, which plugs into the HDMI output port on the receiver. And finally, I can add power. Again, DC input port in the back. The only thing we're missing at this point is the Cat6 or Cat7 LAN cable between the primary and secondary locations. And I have a short Cat6 cable right here that I'll use for that connection. I'll plug that into the LAN port on the receiver, and finally the LAN port on the transmitter. Now, the minute I added power to these modules, they start at that power on self-test, and once I make this connection, they're trying to find each other, and a handshake is taking place, and adjustments are being made to give you the best possible picture on the output monitor. And there you go. So what you're viewing here is content from the primary side, that's HDMI, being converted to a signal that can transfer across the LAN cable, being converted back into an HDMI signal here for display in this monitor. Now, one other feature that's really nice on this product is the local loopback functionality, which allows me to continue to enjoy the content here while I'm sharing it with that remote location. And to use that feature, you'll need one additional HDMI cable, and you'll plug that into the HDMI output port on the transmitter, and the other end of that cable to the HDMI input port on your local monitor. And what happens now is the content will be displayed here at the same time it's being displayed at that remote location. And it's just that simple to get it working. I hope you found this overview of the OREI EX-500C HDMI extension kit helpful. This product provides an incredibly simple way for you to share all of your HDMI media content from one location with a second remote location up to 492 feet away over a single Cat6 or Cat7 LAN cable. The product fully supports high-definition media content and is both HDMI 1.3 as well as HDCP 1.4 compliant, which means it's going to work great with all of your new equipment. It also provides local loopback functionality at the primary site, which allows you to continue to enjoy the content here while you're simultaneously sharing it with the remote location. And it includes a set of infrared blasters that provide complete remote control over the content by picking up the remote control signals at that secondary location and then passing them digitally over that same LAN connection to the primary side where they're rebroadcast. Everything you need to get started is included with the kit, and with a few simple connections you can be up and running in no time. So until next time, thanks again for watching.